Okay. In light of the fact that individuals are reaching out to me from Israel today, I want to make this announcement because I'm sure some people are beginning to fear their future. And you have a reason to. You should have been fearing your future, all of your existence. All people, not just Jews. All people. So this is what the reality is. The reality is this world is filled 100% with people. Out of that 100%, only 10% is the holy seed. That's guaranteed life. That means 90% of all intelligent life walking this planet is not guaranteed life. They're guaranteed fire and brimstone for an eternity unless they earn a place in my book of life by their acts. So for you individuals that are disrespectful and insult your God, Michael, incarnate on earth, you're just corn. Now, I use the analogy of corn to describe 90% of the people on this earth. Why corn? Because corn goes in and out the same way, but it can be converted into fuel. And what is fuel? Something that is combusted, something that is burned up, right? So, but corn itself in corn form never gets consumed, right? And in the eternal fire pit, you never get consumed. You just keep burning eternally. That's why I use corn as the analogy for 90% of the people on this earth. Use your corn. I don't need to waste my time with corn. But if corn takes the time to come and learn from me and takes my laws upon them, then I will lift them corns and turn them into grain. Something that actually maintains a sustenance and brings something of value to life. So, for all of you that are in fear in Israel, in the United States, anywhere in the world, know this. There isn't a being in existence that doesn't have the breath that I provide in their nostrils. It is not my will that you burn eternally. It's my will that you all turn righteous. And I'll have 100% grain walking this earth and not corn at all. But that's not what you want, unfortunately. You just want to continue with the wisdom that you've gathered through exiled, wicked people, oral traditions, all of these demonic-inspired theologies, etc. Use individuals have learned things, not from Yahweh, but from my fallen family. The fallen angels are my direct family. Just like a brother, just like a son, just like a daughter, just like a sister. They are my family. They originate from me. I am the first and the last. None of them existed before I did. So the ones that are running this world right now are subservient to me above and down here. They use all of yous against yourselves because they want to destroy yous. Their goal is to prove that everyone would fail because they failed. And it's my job to show no, not everyone will fail because I've succeeded. I exist above and I've already won my war. Down here, I'm doing a repeat act out of what already took place above to prove my righteousness again to my family that's down here from above by my hand, my arm. I sent them down. So for you audacious mere mortals who think that you are esteemed in your own eye, that think you're set apart and holy, let me enlighten you. You're not. The only thing you're set apart for is the pile of corn going into the eternal fire and brimstone pit. You know how you become holy and set apart? By me granting you that mercy. You don't automatically get that. I have to grant it to you. Me, Michael, God incarnate on earth. So, all of you should fear because you've been defrauding me of tithe and contribution and you have been stealing my property and dispersing it amongst yourselves for a fee while pushing out my chosen who have a rightful claim to that land. You try to differentiate yourselves from them, but they're the rightful heirs. When our people were exiled, my people, they left the farmers and the shepherds with no intelligence, with no knowledge of scriptural instruction, with no knowledge of history, with no noble blood. Uneducated farmers and shepherds, they left. Of all of the tribes, Judah, Simeon, Manasseh, Ephraim, Levi, etc. They left them to till the earth and to manage the livestock, to provide sustenance for the occupiers as they took all the nobles and priests and Levites and shipped them to re-educate them in the land of their oppression. Re-educating them, taking away the memory of the actual knowledge that was necessary to maintain our righteousness, causing them to become impurified with eating flesh of swine, seafoods, crabs, etc. All of these things to keep the spirit of Yahweh off of the chosen people. This is what happened. They switched everybody. Then in World War II, Esau seen an opportunity to jump in and steal the identity of their brothers. And that's what they did. Hence, the Jewish people arose. That didn't exist before then. You had Hebrew, but you didn't have Jewish. Are they one and the same? No. Do they have the exact same DNA? Yes. But why do you think there's only a few sects of Jewish people, but you don't see any Esau in any DNA database? You see no Edom, you see no Moab, you don't see that. You see Jewish. You don't even see Hebrew. The reason is because it is Esau. That's the reason. Not to say that there's not mixed in with them some actual Yaakov. There is, but it's a very small percentage in comparison to the bulk of Edom. And that's the reality. That's why I said a scant few of the Jewish people will be amongst my chosen. A scant few. Because they're not my chosen. Can you become my chosen? Yes. By acting according to my laws. This is the other issue with the Jewish people, who I give the most accountability for the fact that they pretend to observe my laws, but they don't. They insult me. They do things on days that aren't the actual days. They created calendars that don't coincide with the moon phase, but coincide with what's convenient for their leap years. They insult me with the festivals that they do based on their time clock and not based on the laws that I wrote. They insult me. And that's why I am so offended by them over all the other people. The other reason is because they try to keep for themselves what doesn't belong to them, shunning anybody that isn't Jewish. Do you notice that all through the scriptures, it's all male lineage? When people are being referenced, it's all male heritage. Doesn't mention the women, very few within the scriptures. And yet the Jewish people says you can't get your birthright unless you have proof of Jewish mother. Why do you think that is? Why? Is there a difference between a male and a female mating and bringing forth seed? Is that 50-50 different from one way to the other? No. So what's the difference if it's a male or female? There's not a difference. It's the same. The point is, people don't want the actual chosen people in the land. They wanted to push them out and take the land for themselves. Esau. So within the Jewish people, majority Esau. Not to say that all of them feel this way. Most people probably believe they're Yaakov because they don't know no better. Because everything was planned that way to make people not realize who they are. That was the whole purpose of it. That's where these wars came from. This is what divide and conquer is. You were divided and you lost your identities. And then you had the audacity to think that you are special and shun everybody else. Your God your king, your high priest, Archangel Michael in the flesh, has come to you many times and you insulted and shunned me when I came to learn with you and explain the actual truth of what these things said. You didn't want to hear it. Do you know why? Because you're learned in wickedness. You just don't care about this book. You don't care about the actual laws. You care about your oral traditions and the things that were passed down from one to the other. You care about the group. Yous are false swearers and thieves. Not only yous, every religion, every organization, every theological group of individuals is the same. Thieves and false swearers, because you were stealing income in the name of me, His Majesty, Michael. Yous are taking in tithes and contributions for your organizations while preaching a false message of division and self-serving esteem. Trying to raise yourselves in stature above God as if you're the authority. Trying to determine whether or not somebody is worthy of their inheritance based on whether or not they're Jewish, when it already shows you that the people won't know who they are and they're going to be scattered everywhere, and every single tribe had a different genealogy. Everyone. Of course, not every lineage is going to be Jewish. Jewish doesn't even exist. You should be saying, are you Israelite? Are you an Israelite? That's what you should be saying. But not only that, you should say, are you an Ishmaelite? Because both lines have an inheritance under me, as is prophesied in the scripture. Doesn't say just the Israelites. It says his other half people from Egypt, from Assyria, etc. My people are everywhere. I have 12 tribes, 2 half tribes, and 12 clans. Sheikhs, tribal leaders. I have 24 and 2 halves people. That's what I have, scattered. And then anybody else could become my people by taking upon them my laws and serving me, which is Yahweh, who I am the incarnation of on earth, his right arm, Michael. So, yes, you should fear. You should fear. Especially you who insulted me, said you're going to do things to me, mocked me. You should fear, because I am going to sentence you to eternal fire and brimstone. Aside from whatever I do to you before you get there, once I take my throne back in Jerusalem. Yous all should fear. But that doesn't mean you have no chance. It means you should immediately take an inventory of yourself and say, where am I standing on the scales and balances of Yahweh? That's what you need to do. You need to say, where do I stand? And you know where you can find that? In the 5 books of Moses. Or you can find it in the prophets. But you can't find it in none of these other books. None of them other doctrines. None of these other fake things that came after. You're not going to find it there. You have to go back to the books that were written before all of the exiles took place. You have to go back. Then you will know what's going to happen. Then you will know who it is that's identified by name and pedigree in the scripture. Yahweh said it. I did not speak in secret. I have singled you out by name. He didn't say you'll have to figure it out. I'm identified by name and pedigree in them books. In every prophecy, I fulfill every single one of them. Not one of them have I fallen short of. You people, and this is beyond Jews now. Now we're getting to Muslims, we're getting to Christians, we're getting to any other group of people, Satanists, whoever. You people are following doctrines that were come up with by my wife/sister, the left arm of Yahweh, Lucille. And the other fallen that followed her down here. That's who you are following. All of these fake doctrines come from her. She created them all. All these fraternities, all these clubs, all these Greek mythology, all this stuff comes from her and my fallen siblings or my fallen children, whichever you want to call them, because they're both from me. You individuals are all astray. Not one of you, even the ones that pretend to follow the Torah, are in the right, you are in the wrong. You have added to and taken away from my laws. You have developed calendars that contradict my instructions. Had the nerve to celebrate Sukkot this year a day later than it was supposed to be. As if you have any blessing coming. You have no blessing. You've brought a curse upon yourself because you disobeyed my Sabbath day and my festival instructions because you didn't care about Yahweh and his laws. You cared about your own esteem, looking good for your community. But you didn't look good when you decided to start a festival a day after it was supposed to so you could keep up with a calendar you made for convenience for yourself. You individuals. So no, none of you are guaranteed anything but fire at this moment. You know how you get yourself out of the fire that you're guaranteed? Serving your God. That's how. You insult me. One of the brothers I talked to was very respectful. And, we talked and he asked me a few questions. Probably tried to slip me up maybe. His people probably told him to ask specific questions to see if I would give a good instruction or a bad one. Nonetheless, after our Creator lent me some scripture and I texted it to everybody in his little group so they could read it because it was right on point with what he was asking me. The fact of the matter is, each of us originate from the same place. We are all one breath. That's why I'll yawn, they'll yawn, another one yawn, I'll sigh, they'll sigh, another one sigh. Everyone's connected. We are all one extension of Yahweh above. But I am God on earth. So I'm not like yous. I am like God. That's why my name is Michael, who is like me. I am. Do you comprehend that? I am the son of Virginia. Definition, virgin. No one fulfilled any prophecy but me, Michael. I am the son of victory, Nicola. Definition, I am the revered name, Sebastiano. I am God on earth, son of the warrior, Martino, son of David, my grandfather, my father's father, Daniel. I am God on earth. I am the high priest and the king, the branch in harmony with the high priest Joshua, which is the reincarnations of Moses and Aaron. Miriam is my two brides split. It was a reversal, an inversion of the original Trinity. A duplicate of God. That's why the first strike of the rock was acceptable. The second one, he was supposed to speak, but instead struck it twice to bring forth the copious water for the prophet of water, Miriam. That's why both of my wives are water signs, Aquarius and Scorpio. Not that you should even be following celestial identifications, but nonetheless, that's the reason why. Because they are both a split of Miriam. And I am the two in one combined of the high priest and the king. I originated as Adam, the first, and now I am last, Michael. But Michael is the first. Archangel Michael, the right arm of God. It's who I am. I exist above and below. I exist omnipresent. I am not in one vessel. I am in multiple vessels. Spirit. Comprende? So, for all you individuals, yes, you should fear, because my dominion began already. My dominion already began. The inevitability is every single being in existence will kneel at my feet and prostrate. Not a single individual in existence will fail to prostrate at my feet when I judge them. That's the reality. No matter how high up and inflated your ego is, or the esteem you think you have, I am your God. I am your God. I am your God. And all of you will prostrate. All of you will confess with your mouth that I am, and there's no other. And all of you, whether you will it or not, will serve me until you're put in whatever place I decide. All of you. That's the reality. So you should fear, and you should do what you need to do to gain yourself a place in my eternal kingdom. Because as of right now, everyone is guaranteed fire and brimstone for an eternity. The only way you don't get that guarantee is to earn a place. And you don't earn it by insulting your God. The ruler's staff is between my feet. This is my ruler's staff. Comprende? Do you get it? I am the beloved. You are not.